Gotta love technology, right? I really appreciate you people that are bearing with me, that have tuned in for the third time now. So the first show might have some kinks we need to wrinkle out or iron out, or wrinkles that we need to iron out. So with that, I'm gonna get a drink. And we wanted to talk a little bit more about imbalances. I was trying to ask you if you could think of what an emotional disturbance would be, where that would go in our list of, can you see our list here of imbalances? So where do you think that one would go? An emotional imbalance would actually go under physical or an electromagnetic, because we are electrical beings. If our emotions are disturbed, it actually can affect our vibration. And our emotions can be the root cause of many of diseases that people experience, many emotional disturbances, just so many issues in our body can be caused by our emotions. And when you learn a little bit about Chinese medicine, you understand that each emotion is actually attached to a different organ within our body. So the liver has, in my book I talk all about it. There's a wheel, and there's actually different times of the day that energy in our body is moving around. So if, say, for example, at the same time, it seems like every day you have this specific pain or somewhere in your body, it's because the energy in our body is actually moving around and changes about every 2 hours to a different part. So that's why a lot of times we might experience an issue and it might be a pain that we have at the same time every day, because that's actually the time that our energy in our body is at that point. So again, I apologize for our technical difficulties. We're having a little storm here in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. It's not as spring-like as we had hoped, so our video isn't exactly how it had been planned, and we're just gonna make it work. So, has anyone ever had any experiences with anyone that you felt drained your energy? Someone that when you saw them, you might have been happy when you first saw them, and then all of a sudden, when you walked away from them, you just kind of felt your energy draining. So if you're immune compromised or you're trying to heal, these are definitely going to be people that you're going to want to minimize your exposure to, because just like how any of the electromagnetic imbalances can affect our frequency, people can affect our frequency as well. And if they are in a state of an imbalance themselves, then they could actually affect your vibration as well. So you need to try to either remove yourself from the situation, or just try to not let yourself get sucked into their energy, kind of. That everyone knows those kind of people that are just always kind of trying to take from you and not really giving a lot. And if you are dealing with health issues, those are the kind of people that you're going to need to maybe isolate, because this is something that you need to do for yourself. You can only give what you have, and if you're depleted, then you're not going to have what you could for others. So I wanted to talk a little bit about self-care and what that means. So a lot of times people think that self-care means going and getting a massage, or going to a spa and getting a nail treatment. And that could, if that's what self-care looks like to you, it could be. But for some people, it just means taking the time to go sit in nature, or just go for a hike or sit by the water or connect with nature. It doesn't always have to be something elaborate. It doesn't have to be something that costs a lot of money. It could be something that's very individual that just makes your heart happy. That's basically all it has to do. So what makes your heart happy? And do you make sure that you do it enough? Is it something that you do? How many times a week do you do it? Do you do it once a week, twice a week? How often do you replenish yourself? Because all day long we're giving out so much energy, right? To our job, to our friends, to our family, our pets, if we have pets. But how much energy in the day are we really spending on ourselves and thinking about ourselves? What makes us happy? What makes us feel alive? And making sure that we do that. Meditation is something that we can do that actually boosts our immune system and creates all kinds of calm and actually can shift us out of fight or flight mode. How many people are actually familiar with fight or flight mode and feel like they're living in it a lot of the time? Unfortunately, that's a large number of us that are actually living in fight or flight. It's easy for me to say, fight or flight mode, and that alone can create all kinds of imbalances and disturbances in our bodies. So one of the things that we can do to alleviate some of that stress is to meditate every day. And even though it's not, everybody says meditate, but you really only have to do 3 minutes a day for it to count. And that's not that much when you consider, you might sit in traffic, for 20 minutes in the day. So 3 minutes to focus on yourself probably isn't too much, right? And what might that look like? So meditating doesn't have to be with your legs crossed in the, your arms out and certain fingers touching. That's not really. Mainly what you need to do is try to clear your mind, focus on your breathing. One option is to breathe in to 4, hold it for 2 seconds, and then breathe out to 6. And that actually brings us out of fight or flight mode and will shift your nervous system from your sympathetic nervous system into your parasympathetic nervous system, so that you're actually going from this state where you feel like you need to run, hide, or fight into the mode where you're actually digesting your food. You can rest. It's hard to rest if you're in fight or flight mode because your body doesn't want to not be aware of what's going on. So if we take the time, if you're someone who has difficulty sleeping, that's also another option that you could do, is breathe in to 4, hold it 2 seconds, and then breathe out to 6. And if you were meditating and you were sitting up straight, you would want to make sure that you rest your shoulders, take a deep breath, and just let all that go. And if a thought comes into your mind, it's okay. You don't need to get all upset with yourself or, start the negative self-talk if that's something that you do. Just view it as like an idea that's just passing through, like a cloud just going by. Or it could be like a wave in the ocean, and it just comes and then it goes, comes and then it goes. And you can just observe it. Oh, look, there's another thought. But I'm not going to think about that right now because I'm clearing my mind. Some people say that there's actually a place in their mind that they can go to, and that's the quiet spot. And they say that the magic happens in between breaths. So once you start taking in a deep breath and holding it and then letting it out, start to focus on what the sounds are around you, and then you can focus on your breath and the pause in between breaths. That's where the magic happens. Okay, so let's go over what we learned today. We talked about different imbalances and what those might look like. So we might be experiencing physical imbalances, we might be experiencing chemical imbalances, or electromagnetic. So there's 3 different kinds of imbalances that our bodies experience. And some of them we can easily change, right? We can just, if it's a physical imbalance that's caused by nutritional deficiencies, we can just eat better. You could always get a multivitamin. That way you're sure that you're getting your nutritional requirements in the day because you've taken your multivitamin. And then any food that you eat is, just making sure that you're keeping up those daily requirements. But at least you know that you got your minimum daily requirements. Ideally, we would get all of our nutrition from the food that we're eating. But if you have a day where it's busy and you just, maybe you're on the road and there's not a lot of organic choices there, so then maybe you might have to, go with what's there, but then take your vitamin and you know that your nutritional needs were met, at least for that day, so you can avoid any nutritional deficiencies. And make sure you get enough exercise. If you make sure that you get enough exercise, it helps you eat at night. It helps you sleep at night. And eating right, sleeping right can take care of a lot of those imbalances that we experience, so that we're not relieving those symptoms that we don't want to feel anymore. A chemical imbalance, one that we can avoid, is no chemicals in our home, no chemicals under our sinks, no chemicals in our bathrooms, no, like pesticides or chemical fertilizers for our gardens. Sometimes if you live in an apartment building or something, someone might call the exterminator. And I actually just had a woman tell me at one of my shows that she had a exterminator come, and then her dog got real sick, started having seizures, and actually passed away. So chemicals are really serious. Our bodies cannot, it's synthetic. It's hard for our bodies to deal with synthetic compounds and how to utilize them. And so sometimes they'll just accumulate. And that is what can be the tipping point that puts our bodies over the edge, is that accumulation. Once there's been so much accumulation from physical factors, chemicals in our environment, and then wearing our phone, or sitting real close to the TV, having our computers on our lap, just all of those specific electrical appliances or technology, electronics, can actually affect our vibration, like we talked about. So we want to try to limit our exposure to any kind of electronics, any kind of electromagnetic fields, our cell phones. Just kind of keep them away from our body when necessary. If you're in your car, you don't need to keep your phone in your pocket. You could put it on the seat next to you, right? So it's just little things like that that aren't even that hard to think of or to do, but we just kind of don't do them because we don't think of it. But if you're feeling sick, or you're having symptoms, or you have some kind of disturbance going on in your body, then you might want to try to look at what you're doing and see if there's anything that you could do to change it before you start taking some medication that's going to create other disturbances in your body that you're not going to like those either, So if it's a simple fix, why not do that, right? Okay, so we're getting ready to sum up what we learned today, and I want to remind you again that we're going to be starting our spring session on April 20th, and you can sign up at naturesmysteries.com. We'll be meeting every week for 6 weeks for an hour virtually on Thursday nights at 6:30 p.m., and there will be 2 discussion posts required a week in the chat. There will be a Facebook chat made for all of the students. There actually already is, and we're just adding them in there as they arrive. So we'd love to have you join us, and we'll open up to see if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask. I figured we would do a little bit of instruction, and then if anyone had any questions, we could see about that. If you're looking for my book, you can also get that at naturesmysteries.com. And it's actually available on Amazon too. You could get it at Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble. And it is 650 pages. We go over growing, harvesting, storing, preparations, applications, and the name of it is Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs. And the school actually didn't want me to write anything in there about cannabis or hemp. But as a clinical cannabinoid clinician, I couldn't not tell people about the one plant that we actually have receptors in our body for. So I wrote 2 books. One is the cannabis edition, and in that edition, we go over your endocannabinoid system, how it works in your body, how to use cannabinoids as medicine, how to grow it. And so that one has about another 100 pages more than the one that I wrote for the school. So that one's another option too if you want to learn more about the cannabis plant and how to utilize it as medicine. Again, I'm Michele Wildflower from Nature's Mysteries Apothecary. Our school is Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health, and we're accredited with the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. Upon completion of our Holistic Health Practitioner program, you can apply to become a board-certified holistic health practitioner. And that's not the only program we have. We have programs about mushrooms, herbs for children, biodynamic gardening. So many of the components that are in the whole holistic health practitioner program are available as individual courses for those who aren't ready to take the whole program yet or would like to just do it in segments. So that's also an option too. You can find that out on our naturesmysteries.com page. You can always call us at 802-624-6540 if you'd like a consultation. I offer 30-minute consultations or an hour. The first 15 minutes is free, and you can also book those on our website. So I think we're going to open it up to question and answers. If anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask in the comments, I think now's a perfect time. I'm just going to get a drink. Been doing a lot of talking. Okay. So I think we're getting ready to sum it up. If nobody has any questions, we'll go over again. The types of imbalances that we might experience are physical, chemical, and electromagnetic. We went over that. If you want to learn more about herbal remedies for children, you can join us this Saturday in our Herbal Remedies for Children free masterclass. You can sign up for that at naturesmysteries.com, and we'll hope to see you there. Take care.